Hello my friends, my name is Jamie Dean.
And I'm Scott.
And welcome to another episode of Collecting Retro here on Sidescrollin, where we are basically just doing a little bit of a show and tell of something from our nostalgic gaming collection behind us. Or behind us in my case. Scott has, a white space behind him. He's not going to be sharing anything from behind him. His is in another room, in another castle. But what have you brought today, Scott? You're sharing something out of your particular retro hoard.
Yep.
What do you got for us?
So this time for collecting retro, I dug out one of my grails.
Oh, a grail. Ooh.
A grail.
Okay.
I don't have that many left.
Right.
So I don't have that terribly many grails left.
Okay, but this is one of them. Is this a recent acquisition or an old acquisition?
It actually is. Yes, this is an acquisition of this year.
This year?
This year.
Ooh.
I remember when I acquired this one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I jumped on it, found it on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. The Wild West.
And the Wild West. It's a free for all.
And fucking Wild West on there, man. Lawless.
And it come in excellent condition for considering its age.
Okay.
So
what is it? What do you got?
I grabbed.
Oh no way!
E.T.
Wow, E.T.
Atari 2600.
Holy
E.T.
shit. E.T.
Yep, E.T.
Holy.
So yeah, so I got this. As I said, I got this through Facebook Marketplace. This is a game I've been eyeing off for a very, very long time. It's one of my grails, not because it's any good, but because it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's atrociously, infamously bad. Infamously bad, and that's why I want to acquire it. This is like
the fucking Sasquatch, isn't it? Like this is like this mythical fucking thing in retro gaming collections. Like anyone watching this channel, like you're not watching a fucking retro video game centered channel and probably have no knowledge around the mythology of this game, but just in case somebody's watching and has no idea what we're talking about when it comes to ET, in like just a brief 2-minute summary, can you explain all the hoo-ha is about ET on the Atari?
ET on the Atari. Well, it turned everything to shit. And how's that for short and concise?
It is the Thanos of video games.
The Thanos of it goes. No, so okay, so part of what makes ET infamously bad is it is one of the many factors that caused the video game market crash of 84, 85.
Right.
And part of it was ET had just come out. And it was hugely popular, or it was coming out at the time, and as with lots of video game companies nowadays, especially or back in the early 2000s, having a video game to tie in with your movie was the thing.
Yep. And
so they had pre-orders going, I think, for copies of ET. They spent countless dollars making millions of copies of this shit pastry.
One of which you now hold in your hot little hands.
This was to come out for Christmas.
Right.
In time for Christmas.
Right.
Like the movie was just fucking killing it, and they wanted this in everyone's stocking for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so and no shit, it was programmed by one guy, I can't remember his name, but he had 2 weeks.
2 weeks to make the game.
To program the game.
Oh, yes. My Lord.
From nothing. He had 2 weeks.
That was to get it ready by Christmas, right? Like that was the rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was the rush to get it ready for Christmas. Um, so many copies were bought by people and super hyped for it, and it did not meet expectations. Um, it is it's
They
the
just couldn't
back of it
sell
there.
them, right? Like
It
that's what killed everything is they just
yeah,
couldn't
that's
move
right.
units.
That's right. There was no internet back then.
Yep.
It was only through word of mouth. There was no video game magazines back then, or very few anyway.
Yep.
And so it was all word of mouth, and word of mouth got out that the game is shit. It's unplayable,
Yep.
and it's just atrocious. So, and it ended up like Atari spent millions like making copies of these that they just couldn't sell,
Yep.
and they kept reducing price in the bargain bin, and like they just kept cutting the price back and
Please.
back and back, and they
Please.
still couldn't sell them.
No.
They still couldn't sell them. They were basically at the point where they're giving them away, and they still couldn't. No one wanted them, and it became a bit of a legend that the unsold copies from numerous stores across America got collected up and put in a landfill in New Mexico, and it actually does exist, and it did really happen.
Yep.
It was considered a myth amongst the video game community that there was this massive treasure trove of ET cartridges dumped. It was found and dug up.
Yep.
And a lot of those that were still in recognizable condition were sold on eBay. And that's one of the ones I wanted to get.
Right.
I didn't.
I was going to say, there's no dirt in there. It's not dusty.
I missed out.
No.
I missed out. So my copy is actually pretty
That's too
pretty
clean.
pretty good, Nick. It's
Ah.
clean.
Go and just like kick it around in the garden for a little bit and just to sell it, you know.
Bury it under 20 tons of dirt and then dig it back up.
Just dig a hole, leave it out there for a week, and then dig it back up,
Yeah.
and you know it'll make you feel a little bit better about it. You got something. You can tell it'll make a good story, right?
But yeah,
Don't clean it. Just put it straight back in the box.
I remember seeing them. on eBay. They were in like these they were sort of like in medical zip bags,
Yeah.
sort of thing, like with very specific labeling on them, so you could tell which ones actually belong to the landfill.
Yep.
And they had them all numbered, and they were all in various states. Some were like crushed, like you couldn't even put it in the console, let alone
Yep.
recognize what it was. Some like had really fucked up labels, and I can't remember. And they all varied in price based on their condition. I really wanted one, but I couldn't afford them at the time, and so this was my next best thing. But it wasn't the only thing that caused the video game market crash. It was also oversaturation of the market. There were too many consoles that were too similar to each other, and because there's no internet and parents don't know what the kids are into, they didn't know what to get, so they fucking ended up buying games for consoles they didn't have, and
Yeah. Right.
and all sorts of shit like that. And or there's like how many bloody Ataris were there
Yep.
on the market at once,
Yep.
and so yeah, it was all just too much. Another bad port for the Atari was Pac-Man.
Oh, yep.
Everyone wanted to play the Pac-Man from the arcades at home, and they were expecting it to look the same. Boy, does it not. And it was also one of the other factors. There was a lot of money put into Pac-Man, and a lot of bad reviews for it. But E.T. is the most famous one.
The most famous one.
The two. Yeah, it's the most famous factor.
You know what I found out? This is a huge coincidence that like I actually found out today how many copies of this game sold. Do you know what that number is?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't.
This game. So this is one of the biggest commercial failures in the history of the industry, right?
Yep.
How many copies do you think sold?
Oh, Jesus. I'd say it's in the thousands.
In the thousands, you think?
Thousands.
All right. So my information, and I'm gonna do a quick Google of this right now, just to make sure that I'm not talking out of my ass. But my information says that this game, E.T., what's it called? E.T. the Extra Terrestrial.
Yep. Atari
Right, here we go.
2600
Here we go.
1982.
My information says, or that I heard,
Yep.
says that this game still sold 2 million copies
Oh, wow. Wow.
and was considered a colossal failure at 2 million copies sold, which must
Yep.
show you how much money
How
they must have
many copies
thrown
they
into
made.
the development of this thing, right?
Yep. Poor guy had 2 weeks to make it.
2 weeks just to shit out a game for
2 weeks
Christmas.
to shit out a game.
Hang on, here you go.
And-
Copies sold. Yeah, 2.6 million copies
Wow. Yep.
sold of that game, and
So I'm way
still,
off, still, that's a failure.
that's a failure, a huge
Yep.
failure. And this is
Yep.
way, but like I'm trying to think how like I don't understand. Maybe was it the license? Was getting the license where all the money went, perhaps? Because they can't have paid the dude who coded it in 2 weeks very much money, right?
No, not at all. And he was an employee at Atari at the time. I can't remember what else he did, but no, licensing and profiting,
Wild,
just
absolutely wild.
Yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
big push to get it out for Christmas. And as a fun fact that those of you who may not know, when the video game market crashed, everything just lost money.
Yes.
Like in television, ColecoVision, Atari, they all lost shit tons of money. The only video game console that made it through, survived the crash, and famously went on to almost monopolize the industry for quite a while, was the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Good old NES.
And
a little
part
engine
of that,
could.
part of that is because all the other all
their competition was buried in the fucking desert.
All the competition was buried in the desert. Yes. So part of the reasoning why is because all the video game consoles, apart from the NES at the time, they were marketed as like video game consoles or home computer type systems. And so everyone just got turned off those sort of key words there. But the NES at the time was marketed as
what?
A children's toy.
As a toy, that's right.
It was marketed as a toy.
As a toy.
And so
you throw a zapper in there, throw a light gun in there, you throw a little bit of Duck Hunt.
Yep. And it's a toy.
It's a toy,
because
baby.
it's a toy, it fucking survived the bloody the video game market crash. And
Google tells me that by the end of 1982, it had sold 2.6 million copies. However,
Yep.
nearly 700,000 of them were returned.
Yep.
Like for refunds.
Yep.
Like the very next year after Christmas.
Yep. It was so
man.
bad. So yeah, and that is why this is one of my grails. This is the game that brought the video game market to its fucking knees.
Yep. Infamous, as you said.
Infamously. And I tell you what, Jim, I really hoping we actually have another video game market crash.
Well, we've been speculating on it for a long time, haven't we?
I'm fucking waiting for it. I am sick of this crap.
Bring ET back again.
We
need someone to do an ET remaster.
Remaster. Come on. Do it, Atari.
Yeah, fucking
You're back in the game.
get Ubisoft or EA, fucking Activision, someone to remaster one of these big fucking sleazy
you gotta
companies.
get Bethesda, man. Bethesda.
ET
I mean,
to remaster.
They're the only ones that can make the remaster of ET.
Fill it with microtransactions, fucking loot
to get
boxes.
Out of the hole, you
get
have
a battle pass in there.
To get out of the holes that ET kept falling into, you gotta fork out real money.
Digital card packs.
Yep.
The whole gamut. Get it all in there.
Day one patch editions.
Yep. Love it.
But
Now,
yeah,
can I ask, are you going to
yeah.
frame this for your wall?
I am absolutely going to frame it.
Yeah, nice.
I'm absolutely, because I don't have a legitimate Atari 2600. Wish I did. I have one of those ones that's the flashback consoles where
Oh, yeah.
it's like an Atari Mini,
Yep.
with programmed games installed on them. So I don't actually have a way of playing this. I don't even know if it works. I don't care. It's it's what it signifies.
Yeah, it's what it stands for.
It's what it stands for.
That's it.
And so,
like Batman, it's a symbol.
It's a symbol. It's a symbol. Just hear Mufasa's voice booming. Remember.
Oh god.
But yeah, it's absolutely. I didn't even care that it came with the box.
Yep.
And I think the box is in fantastic
It is.
condition,
It really is for an old
considering
Atari 2600 box.
82, and like it's bright and vivid on the front.
It looks good. Like it's a bit like torn at the top, but you know, I've seen them a shitload worse than that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I didn't even care that it came with the box. I just wanted a cart with a label that's in good nick.
Yeah, which it definitely does have.
Which it definitely does have.
So the question of the day is, have you played it?
I have played it on emulators.
Right, and
because I don't have it. Oh, it's bad. It's really weird. Like I remember so you have ET on a screen and there's all these sort of like large circles all around.
Okay.
And you're trying to walk him sort of around these circles, but you can't help but even when you're not on one, you fall through to a pit. A hole in the fucking ground. Of course, they're not going to put it on the screen, on the back of the box, but it's the only screen you're ever going to see for the entire game you play, the entire time you play it. And ET just sort of like, you can do two things. You can sort of like anti-gravity hop a little bit, and you can extend his neck.
Okay.
And like in his head, like his head will like go like out of his body.
Are there levels?
Apparently there's levels. Apparently you're trying to evade the feds, I think.
You know what I think?
Hang on, let's see. I'll read the back of the box.
Okay.
Oh, this sums it up right here. The first word with an expletive is ouch. You just spent money on
only
ET.
they know.
No, it says, ouch. ET is lost on Earth and wants to get home. Help him build an interplanetary telephone to call for assistance before his energy runs out. But beware of government agents and curious scientists who will sap ET's precious energy before he reaches his goal.
Nice.
Fucking, he doesn't have to worry about the fucking feds. It's the holes in the ground that trip ET up.
The real trouble.
They were the real
Just
trouble.
like the movie.
And like you get out of them, and it's painful getting out of them.
Right.
He doesn't control easy. It's so clunky. But if you get out of them, you take like a couple of steps and back in.
You know what I think? I think this needs to be a video. I think we need to do a gameplay video of ET to celebrate this Grail being added to your collection.
Yes.
I think we need to see a gameplay video of Scott playing ET, the Extra Terrestrial. I think that would be glorious.
I would do it. I'd absolutely do it.
It'd be a 5 minute video.
5 minute video, and then just loop it for like 2 hours, and that'd be the experience.
Oh, all right, we're gonna make that happen. That's a promise I'm making right now. We're gonna make that happen somehow. It's happening. Scott, I want to see it. You playing ET, brilliant. There it is. Look at it, incredible. ET for the Atari 2600. What a game! What a game to have in your collection, man. Like,
yes, yeah. I was stoked when it
when
it popped up and it was affordable and it looked good, and I was like, yes, this is one of the ones Grails I've been hunting. I wish it was one of the better looking ones from the landfill, but itself, just to add to the legend,
to the mythos of it,
to the mythos. But I'll settle for one of the 700,000 that were returned.
One day it'll be framed on your wall, and you'll be sitting in, supping on your corncob pipe in front of the fireplace, and your grandkids will come up and be like, "Hey, Grandpappy, what's that?" And you'll have a story to tell.
Yep. And right next to it will be Concord, the game responsible for the 2024-25 video game market crash.
Gather around, children. Let me tell you a story.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, there we go. E.T.
That's
the
it.
Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600, a crowning jewel in Scott's collection. Oh, man. What a sentence.
I don't think that crowning jewel and ET have ever been in the same sentence.
I'll tell you what, if you're watching this and you were there, in the day when this was released and you played it back in the day, please leave us a comment and let us know. I would be fascinated to hear what you thought of it, whether you received it for Christmas one year, how the reception was, whether it got returned or not. Anything at all. Leave us a comment, let us know. If you've ever played it at all in your life, let us know what you thought of it. That would be absolutely fascinating. Otherwise, that's going to do it for us for this particular video, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. My name has been Jamie Dean.
And I'm Scott.
And make sure you keep on avoiding holes in the ground.
And farm home.
Bye.